What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nate and our company is Custom Made by Us. Today's video actually is going to be relatively quick, and it's more geared towards the Facebook group that I'm a part of, and this will be just a quick process on end of day routine or maintenance on your printer when you're done. At least this is what I do, or this is what I've always done, and I'm hearing on our group that there's a lot of different ways that people are taking care of this, but this is the way I do it, and I don't know if it's correct or not, but it's worked for me. I've never had any problems with the printer. The next morning when I do my cleanings and nozzle tests or checks, they all come out perfect. So I've never had my inks siphon out of the tanks. I've heard that story before where all of a sudden someone says all their tanks are empty because all the ink siphoned out. Haven't seen that happen yet either. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you my process, end of day process, and we'll go from there. So my end of day is I'll shut down my computer, all the applications on it. The only time I normally, let me back up a minute. So if I go inside Print EXP, there is an option in here called wet. So right now it's not on. If I don't have anything printing for any time throughout the day, I'll use the wet option. That's the only time I use that option, is throughout the day, through a production day. If there's nothing going on, I'll put it to wet mode. And then if I got a print job that I have to do, I'll come out of wet mode, I'll do a normal clean. I'll normally do a strong clean first thing in the morning, but say the printer hasn't been used for a couple hours, I'll come out of wet, I'll do a normal clean, and then I'll do a nozzle check, and everything usually looks perfect, and then I'll go from there. So what some people are doing though is at the end of the day, they're moving their print heads out of the way. Get over here. You can see mine still has the cap solution sitting in the capping stations from last night because I haven't done my strong clean yet. So, but what people are doing is they're putting their wet capping solution inside of there. They'll go back over to here. And then what they end up doing is they come into here and they press what they think they need to do is at the end of the day, okay, so I've put my capping solution in the capping stations. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on wet. So when you click wet, it says whether to keep wet. You say, okay. Well, when I did that, watch what the capping station does. Right there. So it literally just pumped out. Let me see if I move it over. So right now it's in keeping wet. So I can't get out of that mode unless I come on the computer. I'm going to switch it. Does it say not keep wet? I say okay. So now it's out. So the capping station will come back up. Now when I go back over, those capping stations are completely dry. Well, not dry, they're no longer containing your capping station fluids that you put in there that you want to kind of have your heads set in, keep that moisture. When you click wet, it pumps it out. And some people are they're putting capping station solutions in there, coming in the software, clicking wet, and then that's how they're shutting. They're not really shutting it down for the night. They'll let the printer just continue to stay on in that wet mode. And again, there's nothing in there. So my process is I use these little foam cleaners. So I get them on Amazon. I'll use 2 of them. I still have this cleaning solution from Ricoma, but I can get some more when I need to from DTF Superstore. That's I think where I'm getting the capping, the wet cap solution. So I'll come over there with my cleaner. This is my wet cap solution. I'll set this on a towel over here. So, and then I'll get these moist in the wet cleaner. And I normally just clean around the outer perimeter of the capping station, and then I'll clean the squeegee off, and then I'll use obviously one for white, and then I'll use the other one for the CMYK. So kind of clean up the station as well as I can. Once I've done that, I then take, let's see if I can position this where you can see it. So once I've cleaned up that area, I literally just take my wet solution and I put in, you know, I don't fill it to the top. I'll do about a quarter to half, and that's it. When I did that, I actually see, I just picked it off, good, a little particle that was in the capping station that eventually could have got up into the head. So at this point, I've got fluid, wet capping station fluid in each capping station. Say I've already cleaned it up. I press this all the way to the right as far as it's going to go. I press the enter button to bring the capping station back up. So that mates the capping station with your print heads. And at that point, I turn off the printer and I turn off the little transformer box in the back, and that's it. So the printer's off throughout the night. The capping station is up with that fluid up against the print heads. So it's giving them a good little soak throughout the night. You can use distilled water. I hear a lot of people use just distilled water. Make sure it's distilled. But that's it. And then the next morning when I come in, I'll do, reverse, turn on my power. Once this power comes up, this will do initializing. It'll connect to the software, but I'll press the cleaning button on the front of this right out of the gate once this is done initializing. When it says idle, I'll hit cleaning. And then I'll normally do another strong clean from within the Print EXP software, and then I'll do my nozzle tests. And we'll see how that looks. So right now that capping fluid is still in there. So, say it's the next day, we come over here and we look at it. If I move it over, that fluid's still sitting in those cap stations. So had I come and moved this over, and then in the software, move my screen back out. In the software, had I gone in and just clicked on the wet option, I'll do it right now again, just so you can see what it does, if that's what you're doing. So when you click on wet, it says okay to keep wet. Say okay. So I don't know the purpose of that, because literally when you put your wet cap solution in and you press wet, it pumps it out. It just pumped it into the waste tank. So right now, if I left it like this, my print head doesn't have any solution against it. So I don't think that's ideal. I may be wrong. I mean, I've been doing this process with my printer now for probably 6 months or so. And like I said, every morning when I do my cleans and my nozzle tests, they come out perfect. So that's my process. So if you're doing it differently, let me know. Just because I do it this way doesn't mean that that's necessarily the right way to do it. But for me, it works. I had some issues once where I had a slow day. I wasn't printing as much, and I left the printer running, and I didn't, throughout the day, did not put it into a wet mode. I just left it as is and went about my business. The inks, the white ink has a pump, a recirc pump, and a stirrer on it, so it keeps that ink circulated. But for me, I didn't leave it in the wet mode during production. And then that, when I fired it up later on in the day, I had to do quite a few nozzle cleans to get it to actually print properly again. So then I've kind of learned my lesson on that. So again, I don't want to go too long on this video. I always end up doing that, but that's the process that I do. End of day, wet cap, shut it down. That's how it is. So I hope this was helpful for you. If if you're doing it differently, just comment in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing it. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. If it was useful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Click the bell notification so you can get notified when we post new content. And as always, I appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next video.